pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We're down to invitation. You got that, Mitch? Oh, silent invitation. All right. Minutes. Presentation. We got superstars, and then after superstars, oh, let me take a minute for it. Skip was like old family. I'm sorry. Have you all got a chance to meet Skip Fowler?
Not everybody, Mayor. A couple, I'm halfway through your convention.
Okay, if you haven't had a chance to meet him, that's him in the flesh. And
Thank you.
Welcome,
As opposed
Skip.
to-
Glad to have you back.
As opposed to Washington.
Okay, anyway, after Superstars, we have a special video that's going to be shown by Deltona Middle School concerning, yes, go ahead, Jerry.
Okay, Deltona Middle School had done a package and letter
Yeah.
mailing to troops in Iraq and Afghanistan for Christmas time, and they got a reply back from a master sergeant or...
Yeah, thank them for everything.
Yeah,
Chief
they applied
Master.
the A-10s over there, and he was thanking for the letter and recorded a video and sent him what apparently is a challenge
I
coin.
think it's a challenge coin. He said a coin from there, so I would imagine it's probably the union's challenge coin, which would be kind of cool. Maybe they'll donate to the museum for that collection, but I doubt it right now. They're gonna keep it in
Yeah.
school, I'm sure, but it's kind of cool. So they're gonna do a short video that was sent from Afghanistan to the school, thank them, so it'd be something really cool. And then we've got a recognition of Pine Ridge Girls Soccer Varsity Team. You wanna do that one, Brian? You know that?
Well, I know they went to the playoffs, yeah. Actually went to the Sweet 16, didn't they?
I don't know, you don't know anything about it?
Yeah, they went to Sweet 16.
David,
You wanna do it?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Next one is the Wolves cheerleaders. Heidi, you wanna do that one?
I'm fine,
Huh?
yeah. Me or Anita? I can do it. You want to do the charity?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
either one is
Cheerleaders.
fine. Okay.
When you can do a cheer.
He wants you to do it here.
Yeah.
You want to clear out the chambers?
And
Shut the meeting down.
then do we have any special commission reports?
Yes,
You got TPO.
TPO, and it's going to be in three phases, quite a lot of information. It'll take about 7 minutes.
Okay.
And I had two topics to bring up, but I don't know if you want to do it under reports or remarks. One of them is the sidewalk continually.
Well, I think
Making people wait all the way to the end, it's not on our agenda.
you're gonna have public comment on that.
You know, we can't, we're not supposed to discuss public comment.
No, but-
We won't then, but you're gonna have public comment on it. You can bring it up on your commissioner comments later on.
But then they gotta wait till the
Well,
end of the
then
meeting
we're
to
not
have
supposed
it
to make
addressed.
decisions on, and staff is waiting for us to give guidance on things. We're not supposed to
The
be
manager can bring that up then.
Well, I can ask, for guidance from the
Ask for
commission,
guidance.
what you wanna do with the sidewalks on Timberlake.
That's all.
He's saying doing it during a special report or something.
Instead of making people wait all the way to the end.
Well, you wanna bring it up then? Under-
Isn't that shouldn't it be old business? Didn't we discuss it last meeting? Did we have discussion?
Yeah, we
on
can
that
put
last
that
meeting?
under old business. Is that okay?
Yeah, they didn't, business, I'll pull back to that.
I mean, cause I guess you're gonna probably have public comment tonight, which is what I've bid it for, and I sent it out to the commission, and I guess we could respond under old business.
Yeah, because we're all getting emails.
Yeah, these other things, we're gonna run pretty much assignments. It's up to you.
Well, it's up to the
I
commission.
hate, if you bring it up before public comments, that, in other words, commission reports are reports of things that happen. If you bring it up first, let's hear the public comments, because we'll get the public's input before we get to that stage. All right, bring it up under old business.
It wasn't an actual item before though, so I don't know if it technically should be under old business. It was just a response that was under commissioner comments from the initial public comments.
Yeah, but didn't the commission say that we would then
Yes, we
give
did.
direction back to staff
yeah.
after a report, so we could ask for an update of what what, change?
Right, I'm saying I don't know that it's technically old business, that's all.
Well,
Well, we can make it old business.
so that'll be an addition under old business.
And the other one's probably just some of my comments, I want to comment on sunshine law violation. Me is one.
Okay, so you want to bring that up under
Under,
Commissioner?
yeah,
And then the public forum and the consent agenda. There's something on the consent agenda, then we go to
Ordinance.
first reading and, pardon me?
Oh, I was just gonna say ordinances.
Yeah, first reading is sign ordinance 9A.
Yippee.
So there.
Mayor, let me suggest to you that I've had about 10 minutes to look at your sign ordinance, and I suspect I'm going to have a suggested change between the first and second reading to make certain you stay on the right side of the Supreme Court.
Okay.
But I really haven't had a chance to go into it in
Yeah,
any depth.
okay.
Just kind of a heads up.
Can you fill us in on what you're alluding to?
Yeah, the court has said that you can't regulate based on content. So what the sign says is utterly immaterial. So the extent that your ordinance says these kind of signs can be here, like political signs, for instance, well, that's not based on its content, and you can't do that. You can regulate on size, square footage, placement, but not based upon the content of the sign. Advertising, political, public records, whatever it might be, that's not a consideration when deciding where and when and how signs can be put
So
on.
we say 4x4 signs are allowed.
Size you can
Put
regulate.
anything at all you want on
But
the
I believe-
4x4.
Well, yeah, up to a point, you can't.
Well, yeah.
But we can pass it first ordinance, or first reading,
Yeah,
and
correct.
have changes for second
Yeah,
reading, so
Skip
we can
will say
keep
the
this
same thing
going.
downstairs for
Right.
the public's benefit.
Yes, I will, yes,
Right.
yes, sir.
Okay.
And I believe the sign ordinance is content neutral.
Pardon me?
I believe the sign ordinance is
Yeah,
content.
because we had lengthy discussion on
Yeah.
that. Back-
Well, as I
Yeah, you
said,
cannot regulate content, what goes, you know,
Right,
what
but
the
it's
state.
not.
Well, if it says political signs can only be such.
You just
I just use that as an example there.
Whatever it is.
And I need to go through it in a little bit more depth than I've had a chance to
We'll
do.
allow garage sale signs in a right of way, but you don't allow other signs, you can't do that.
Right.
I think that's one of the issues.
Oh, that's
Right,
what it is.
so now we would allow all,
There
it's
should
either,
be
it
reference
either
in
goes
ordinance
in,
at
it
least
either
to
goes
the
in or it
debate
doesn't.
Let's not debate it here, let's debate it downstairs, but the point is that Skip's already said he wants to do further research before second reading, so when we get through with our discussion, then he can bring up the fact that he's doing.
And I'll mention the fact that we're looking at it specifically for that one element.
Okay.
And after that, done.
Okay. All right. Anything else on signs? Then we move to, well, now we got the new addition, old business for the sidewalks that Mitch wanted to bring up. New business is 4 members reappointments, or reappointments to the Planning and Zoning Board. Those appointments and reappointments are listed. Does everybody know who has appointments or not, or whatever?
Yeah, I'm doing mine.
You got yours ready? You got yours ready?
Yeah, there was a couple of applications that came through.
Okay.
It's not listed on here.
All right. And next is, the property on Abigail Drive. This is the one that staff had given us some discussion about. The lady came in, that's that piece of property that's been a training site for the fire department, and I guess we're moving towards
The demolition, because the city
demolition
owns,
and
the city
destruction.
already owns the property.
Yeah, we already own everything, so it's just a fact of paying the demolition. The nonprofit, C is a budget, everybody okay with that? C is a nonprofit funding request. City manager made a recommendation. We were kind of had a issue with being not totally fair to the public thing, exactly what was there and that, and there's some disagreement with the members of the commission, so this is to clean that up. And it also, isn't this also discuss the land? Yeah.
Neighborhood
the land
center proposal.
Proposal for the homelessness center in the land.
Yes, and to request the commission to come up with an amount
An amount that we wanted
for support.
for, was it a 5-year guarantee they want or something like that?
Yes,
Which we can only give them
Well,
We
and it-
give them a pledge for 5 years, but a guarantee each budget year.
Right,
they
and
come
that's
up with
stated
money.
is subject to budget approval.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause that's not the last year's budget.
Yeah, that, we can work on that during the budget time. But they would like, I guess that's the issue, they would like a number now, so they, for planning purposes, even though we won't budget it until the budget comes out. We want to get an idea where we're at, so if we can agree on that. And then it would be city attorney comments, manager's comments, and commissioner comments.
Okay.
Okay?
Mayor, I can do this here, I can do it downstairs. You had asked for dates to have an economic development, public forum, and also a park CIP public forum, and I do have the dates. I can raise it now, or you want me to do it downstairs, it's your choice.
Both.
Yeah, both.
You know, we've tried
between now and-
scheduling, has anybody got any burning desire to debate a date? We've tried
Like to
that
see
on
what-
numerous occasions.
All right, for the economic development, I've got March 29th, or April 5th, or 6th, and it'll be 6 to 8.
What
I'm open
kind of days are those, March 29th?
March
Wednesday.
29th is a Wednesday, sir.
Wednesday, the
Okay.
5th is a Wednesday, and the 6th is a Thursday.
I won't be here the 5th or the 6th. I'm out of town I leave Wednesday, so I won't be here then.
We can't play.
So the other one is April,
It's March
Wait,
29th. Commissioner Hertzberg just said that she's,
March 29th, anybody got a problem with March 29th?
because I just heard that April 5th and 6th do not work.
I mean, for me, I mean, if I'm the only one, I
April
don't,
5th, I know it definitely doesn't.
doesn't work for you
Okay,
either.
then, well,
Well, that makes it easy.
So the only
Would
one,
would you just announce then publicly that March?
so it'll be March
I have a
29th?
question though. This is for citizen input. The only one thing you're gonna have, March 29th, and even on the 5th, you've got individuals who go to church Wednesday evenings. So, I mean, I know you don't wanna take into consideration a lot of different things, but that is generally your church night. You've got a lot of public participation that we have.
March 30th.
That was,
That's related for life. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I believe Marilyn was not available, was she?
She wasn't available in, when, April 5th and 6th?
She
right?
was available, that's
She
why we
was
took,
available then?
yeah.
Was it the 10th?
It was the 10th, she was not available.
April 10th, she was not available, right?
Right,
Right. That's all I remember.
and that was a Friday.
That was,
Do we want to change, so you want me to, rather than doing the 29th of March, you want it on the 30th? I'll have to double check, but what's,
I'm okay with the Wednesday.
You're okay? I'm thinking the citizens, so this was to get citizens input for economic development.
It's hard to find a night where something isn't going on for somebody.
If you guys don't think it's.
And most churches don't, youth work on Wednesday, I mean, I know all my churches.
Oh,
okay, so we got March 29th, 6 to 8 o'clock for the economic development. And then my suggestion is for the park CIP to utilize the April 24th workshop, because I know we had talked about like a weekend, but we also felt that a lot of the leagues are already started. It's going to be very difficult in regards to
What was
parks.
that date again now?
It would be April 24th, which is the Monday workshop, the last Monday in the month.
Oh, in lieu of the workshop, do that?
Yes, to have a park CIP.
Okay, so what time?
Yeah, we could also,
6 to 8?
we could also make that 6 to 8, rather than 5:30 to
Anybody
7:30.
got any objection?
Is that a yes or no? I'm not sure.
no objection.
Nobody objection?
Okay, so I got those two dates?
Yep, you got those 2 dates and just print them and that's, we'll live with them.
Okay, the second date was, I'm sorry.
April 24th for the park CIP. And it would be 6 to 8 o'clock.
And along with that, make sure we have a copy of just bet on it, so,
I'm sorry?
Are we
Yeah,
at
our
the
base amendments?
departments of the
Comp plan?
CIP, the comp plan? With the numbers, acres and all that's in there, just have that handy at least if somebody asks a question on it. That's the only thing I think of we need. All right, anything else? All right, we're.
I've got one thing.
I'm
I
sorry.
got an email from DEP that they have a demonstration, and I'm not saying anyone needs to go, but of the OSTDSs, which are the advanced septic tanks in Lake Alfred. March 15th is a Wednesday at noon, kind of a little guided tour. That is the morning of the trail ribbon cutting. So if you're going to that, you probably can't do both. So if anyone wants to go, let me know. And I think they did properly notice the meeting, but I'll verify that if more than one of you wants
So
to
a
go.
video would be good to get a video.
Matt,
of a video.
what day?
March 15th at noon in Lake Alfred and Polk County.
Yeah, that's a long way away.
It's a couple-hour drive. So.
Yeah. I don't know that we want to talk about alternative cemeteries right now, but you're gonna be there, somebody bring in.
Yeah, we'll have someone there, and I'm not, like I said, no one needs to go. I know people are interested, so if you are, just contact me and we'll set up a ride or how you want to handle it.
I just wanted to get some clarification because, and not to bash you or anything, but the last regular commission meeting, when I was speaking, I was interrupted. And it was mentioned that commissioner comments are to do announcements, like things like that. Is that the case, or can the commissioner say whatever he wants to say during commissioner comments?
What do you mean by say whatever you
Like
want?
what I
Commissioner
read,
comments are supposed to be strictly, if it's a presentation, you should have to have an agenda.
So was I out of line
It's
for
got-
what I spoke about at the last regular commission meeting? It was
I
about James
don't
and experience.
About what?
It was about James and experience.
I thought we were having to use that because of the.
And the reason why I'm asking is because if there's an issue of when I communicate things, where else can we talk about it in a meeting? If I have something I want to communicate to the public, I want to communicate to you guys, where else on the agenda can I do that if not during the commissioner comments?
Good question.
That's why we said comments has to be, it has to be.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Okay, it goes back to.
My sunshine law
It
under
goes back,
commissioner comments.
right. It goes back to a bigger situation that we, the seven of us, this doesn't involve the manager or the attorney. Seven of us have to dictate how we operate. We should operate under some sort of rules. And whatever those rules are established, we should all follow, whether we like them or not, until we can change them. That's Robert's rules.
What's the rules for commissioner comments?
Workshops are big time. Our workshops used to be productive because we didn't follow, you all know how I feel, I'm not belabored, but I'm just telling you, it's a fact of the way we operate. When you go downstairs and you have workshops televised and you have to use that thing. If we're discussing an issue here and you want to bring that issue up, right away, if there's disagreement on that issue, somebody wants to say something, but I have to follow that numbering system. And so whatever is at the root of your argument, you don't have a chance to answer back. Because technically that's where the interruption part comes, because you've got this dying need to say how you feel, and see how the clocks are going up. But that's the situation. When you're in that situation where I'm having to follow that, it's almost impossible. Put yours up to it and everybody be up. But you understand what I'm getting at? So we have to set rules of how you want to handle that. But under commissioner comments at the end of a regular scheduled meeting, it's inappropriate because it's not an agenda, and you'd probably get way off into making decisions.
Well, I just wanted to give you a heads up because there are going to be meetings when I'm going to bring things up during my commissioner comments.
Well, you don't.
And I don't want to be disrespected by being interrupted.
And just like my sunshine law, that's during commissioner comments.
The issue is,
You should
we
be able to
need
bring
to
it.
have a meeting, which was what we had planned, but other things happened and got us off track, on our ability to work together and set those rules of procedure we're gonna follow during a normal meeting. And I've been trying to get that. It's just like, I'm glad you're here tonight, because sometimes things come up and you miss them if you're not at the meeting. But that's what we need to come up with. This commission has chose to have those meetings downstairs, and if that's what you want, and you all have told me I need to follow that thing explicitly. I don't even have a button on there. I can't even interject when I want to. So I have to interrupt to get something out if I see it's leaving the train that we shouldn't be going.
Or I interrupted him with a point of order.
Huh?
At this point, I interrupted him with a point of order.
Well, yeah, that was different, but the point is we have to decide. So technically, commissioner comments into me, the way I envision them, you should work out concerns you have with the manager, concerns you have, then bring them to us at workshops. That's what we did, where we talked about things, we massaged things, we come up with a plan. That's not what's happening now. Workshops, just like having public participation, we never had those at workshops. We allowed people to talk on the agenda items. Now, this is something that really the public needs to hear, but on workshops, we shouldn't have public participation in the beginning. We should be there just for that, and then, once we discuss that, then let the public talk about that issue, but it shouldn't be able to bring up everything, because it fogs what we're trying to accomplish.
All I'm trying to communicate is that when I'm speaking during my commissioner comments, I want to be respected. Do not interrupt me, and please, because I show all of you respect when you speak.
Then let's set a time limit, let's set a time limit for commissioners. See what I'm saying?
It's the
Because-
same thing. Whether you discuss it at, whether you do it in the commissioner comments, or you put a section where commissioner, you're still discussing it in the meeting, what's the difference?
This point is valid, where did we bring this thing up?
It's gotta be at the comments, and it can't be all fluff. I mean, like you said, some things.
Me personally, I would like to see them earlier in the meeting so that my comments are not at 1 AM. I would like to see them earlier when we have more people in the public there, but that's my opinion. But I just wanted to vent a little bit because I don't want to be interrupted every time I'm speaking during my commissioner comments. And I'm not saying no disrespect, but
I understand. We haven't done that yet, I don't.
Just having some foresight.
See, this is the kind of discussion right here that normally I would have to stop at a meeting. You see what I'm saying? No, you're right. I'm saying, this is what's good, this is what we need to do. But following, I don't have the thing, I think Hertzberg, then Bradford.
No, well, my comment was
and then
on
Vice Mayor.
just what you brought up. We need to, go ahead and reschedule this meeting to talk about policies and procedures for everything, to clarify that. And why don't we just do it the next workshop?
Mayor, I was gonna actually make that suggestion. Why don't we do it on Monday, March 13th?
Instead of scheduling another meeting and having this date issue, just do it at a workshop and hammer this out. Because the longer we push it away, we need
Get your
guidelines.
day timers out, five.
It's a regular.
It's a
It's a
regular
regular
workshop.
workshop,
Well,
5:30 to
let's
7:30.
change it if you
To
got.
discuss what?
The policies and procedures that remember where we were gonna do it and we had to do the city attorney thing?
Well,
Continuation.
I wanted to be more orderly because when we came into that 29 meeting, we didn't know what we were going to talk about. If we're going to talk about the guidelines
It's
of the
just-
handbook, let's talk about that.
just-
Yeah.
Let us know ahead of time.
No, well, that one was covered everything, that was a big book. This is just the commissioner policy, how we operate. That one little book you got? Okay, so we've got scheduled there on the 13th, okay? All right,
Well,
That's next Monday?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Oh,
well, we gotta do it. I mean, it's gotta be, put your comments, if you will, we'll share it with everybody in writing and send them to the manager, and she can make sure we all get copies of that meeting. That's what we want. We'll go through the manual, the book.
We're not gonna get through everything, then that's 2 hours.
No, we won't get through all of it, but, and commission workshops are 2 hours. Commissioner Bradford, do you have something?
well, actually, I'm glad Chris brought that up, because that was actually, I was going to make a motion tonight, because we talked about at a meeting having a section in the beginning of the meeting where that's when we brought up if we wanted to have a motion put in that meeting, and according to which I was trying to find, according to what we have currently, unless it is something that requires research and more information, and it's just a small item, we were going to allow it to be put up and brought up in there.
You can bring up that you would like to agenda a topic. That gives staff chance to research the topic and have the information provided. If it's just gonna vent your opinions on stuff, that's,
No, like literally I had 3 items I wanted to make a motion for this evening. When do we do that? So if we do it at the end, everybody's like, okay, I'm done, I'm tired, I want to go home. So we're never able to actually speak about things that we need to, because it's almost like, okay, let's go, we're done. You know what I'm saying?
I hope you're watching the table like I am, because I have to, but I'm gonna come back to Commissioner Hertzberg. But see, every time you comment, she's got a response, but it can't. I gotta go to Commissioner Suka.
it's just crazy that we can't have an open
That's
discussion,
what I'm
and we have
saying.
to cut break the comment and break it. It's just
But you
insane.
understand, that's what's killing us because of an action we took before. So we'll handle that next week, Thursday. Yes, sir.
Well, and I mean, I'm glad you brought it up, because respectfully speaking, you said you gotta have rules, you gotta have policies. I remember a special meeting we had on the hard drive where no one was allowed to speak unless it was, it wasn't about the hard drive, it was about the policy and procedures. And no one could speak from public about anything other than what was on that agenda that night. That was by you. And then last week, we had a special meeting on the city attorney, and Deborah gets up, starts talking about Sunrail, gets not stopped. And then, like Chris is saying, see,
I'm sorry, I don't know Deborah's son, what do you?
Deborah Green got up, started talking about Sunrail Station in our special meeting with the thing, but it was never stopped. Where as soon as people said anything about the hard drive, it got slammed. It said, no, we're only talking about stuff on the agenda of that special meeting on the policies and procedures that night. So we're not following our own things. I don't even know what to follow anymore because one night. Listen, in a perfect world, all 7 of us are shared equal information. We have a great communication line. It doesn't happen at this commission, okay? So you can't, we need our time to get my stuff out in commissioner comments or whatever, because the way it should happen, it doesn't. So when you're saying, well, get with the city manager during the week, I haven't received a phone call from the city manager in months. The last time was about ethics violations. That was the last phone call I ever received from her, last communication. When I send an email, it takes
Okay, but
a
see,
while.
this is what's happening, we're getting on a roll.
I'm saying that's why you
to
need commissioner comments to
But I
to say.
follow what rules that you all as a body tell me to follow, and it's 2 hours on workshops, make it or break it, no what or what, that was the last word I got. I have to use that numbering system. We had to go downstairs in front of the public and televise. Those are all things that this commission wanted. So I have to follow those rules until you all change them. So next week, on Monday, we can adjust whatever those rules you want. And if you want to be able to talk over one another and everything else, you can't run a meeting if there's not some sort of controls.
Without
So
doubt.
self-imposed controls I can live with.
But that's what I'm saying, like Anita just brought it up. Right now, I want to put something on the agenda. Before, I could email the city manager, we get on, now you can't do that. So if you want something on the agenda, when you do it.
If you want to bring up something you'd like to have placed on the agenda, as I understand the rules that are currently in place, you bring it up. If there's support
When?
by 4 members of the commission, you can almost bring that up at any time.
We
No.
haven't agreed to that.
That's
I'll
the question.
discuss
we
the
don't know.
issue, but to bring up, you'd like to have this agenda. Do I have
Properly
support
handled,
for it?
where do we bring it up?
Currently, it's under Commissioner.
Currently.
Commissioner comments.
Under
Okay,
commissioner
that's all I'm
comments,
getting at.
currently.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we debate the issue. That means you bring it up. If there's consensus to move forward, we do. If there's not consensus to move forward with it, you just drop it. That's it. Okay? Vice Mayor.
And that's what I was gonna say. Comments are just that, they're comments. They're not something that's meant to become an actionable item. If it is something, and we can talk about this in the policies and procedures, and I would think the real simple fix would be to go ahead and add a line item on the regular commission agenda someplace that says commissioners' requests for future agenda items or something to that effect. And if it's something that may become an actionable item, something that we're going to vote on and make a decision, not just something for information, then that would be the place on the agenda where we would do that. So we want to decide that all the public works trucks are going to be orange instead of white. And so that would have to be voted on. So you would make that under an actionable item, and it would get a motion, it would get a second, and then it would get voted on to agenda.
We talked about this at one of the meetings, and one of you all brought it up, and we said, when we had the policy procedure meeting, then we would change it. Because here was the suggestion, city commission special reports and requests.
Yeah, that was not.
But
that's a good.
we were going to do
That's
that
good,
at the policy procedure, so that's the point to bring up
And
next
the reason,
Monday.
the reason for putting it there early on
Perfect.
is it gives staff a little bit of time to be able to get information to the manager and say, I can't do this tonight, we have to research it, or it may be something that simply, with a little bit of computer work right there, it could be addressed that evening, and staff could advise the
Well,
manager. Depends on what the item is.
It would be a request to talk about in the future.
But
Because otherwise,
under the commissioner's comment, he could say, Madam Manager, is that something staff can pull together real quick while they're sitting here tonight? For instance, the question may be to the fire chief, how many times did we transport last week? I don't know. He could pull that off his computer real quick. Or it may be something more in depth. Chief, do you think we need to buy 3 more ambulances? that kind of thing, and that's gonna
A
take time to
simple
prepare.
question, all you have to do is through the chair say, could you ask the fire chief to answer? He'll say, yeah, or give me time to get back.
But the
That is-
basic thing I'm trying to bring for tonight for Commissioner Alcantara is, if it's a comment, if it's just information that you want to share, you have been meeting with some folks on a lake project, and just want to make everybody aware of that. That's information. It may become an actionable item, but right now, it's just information. But if you're bringing up something that you don't want to build sidewalks anymore until we come up with a new policy, then that would be something to schedule for an agenda item, and you would have to request, make it as a motion, it would have to get a second, then we would vote on it, the manager then would schedule
Before
it on
we
a
get
future
too deep in
agenda.
it though, but for tonight, but that's what we'll talk about. But for tonight, you could bring up and say, hey, I need more information about sidewalks and this whole issue of how we prioritize it. That is something you say, I'd like that agenda. And then staff's got time, we put it on the next agenda and we discuss it. You could lead the charge on that. But we don't get into a discussion back and forth tonight on it because it's at the end of the meeting. But if we make the change to where it's under request, that's where you bring it up, not under Commissioner comments. And I've lost track, I think.
Mitch is next, I think.
I think Mitch and then,
I just want to say we're going around the barn on this because we took it off the agenda, the commission took it off the agenda, and that was called additions or deletions to the agenda.
Right.
And it shouldn't have been taken off because the city manager has nowhere to delete, oh, we don't have enough. Additions or
something
deletions
for
to the
that
agenda.
night. That was something for that night.
Or you can, it's the same thing, you can say,
It used to
I'm
be
gonna
on
add to a
purpose.
future agenda. It's a simple thing, it's in Robert's rules, it's in
okay,
there.
wait a minute.
On everybody else's
That was-
agendas in other
that
cities,
was-
additions or deletions to agenda.
that was verbiage that was taken out because it was being used to bring up subjects that nobody had any information about. But yet they wanted to bring it up, discuss it, we couldn't
But we can
discuss it.
use that, while I have the floor,
Well-
to say, I want a future agenda item, addition to an agenda item in the future.
Yes, we can use those words as the ones
Something
we
that belongs
currently
there.
have and give the same thing.
You're just taking it off the agenda.
So the fundamental question or comment this commission needs to look at, when you add that on, and the reason it was taken off was there were commissioners that did not feel that it was noticing the public for putting an item on the agenda, and it was not adequate public notice for that. That is the reason it was removed from the agenda.
Correct.
Whether I agree with it or not is irrelevant. The commission has to decide at what point do you cross over that line again where the public is going to come up and say, this was not on the agenda, we didn't know you were going to talk about it, and you decided to put it on there. To say, do you want to pick a date, do you want to change a workshop, do you want to go ahead and appoint, Commissioner Bradford to go to the school, that's a minor thing. But when you're starting to look at adding items on the agenda that require any backup material, that require public input, that have an effect on the citizens, then that's the line you have to look at what point do you decide you're going to do that or not. And again, my opinion is irrelevant on that. Those were the issues why that item was taken off. Because of the weight of some of the things that were brought up.
And the depth
And the
that we-
lack of public input, and then you have the whole thing, it wasn't properly noticed.
Okay, the depth that I'm
That
gonna
the
stop,
public
I'm gonna
brought up,
stop
so.
everybody right now, because the depth that we get into this discussion should be held downstairs in front of the public. So I don't wanna defeat the idea
Well,
of
it'll
the
be held
agenda
under the
review.
policies next week.
No, I understand, but next week, that's when we'll do it.
Okay,
And
so good discussion.
Jane, yeah, it
Yes.
is, that's a good discussion.
Yes,
Where we can, I'd love to sit down and really have a roundtable discussion like this where we're, because if we're, no, it's fine. I'm glad you brought it up, because that forced us to do in the meeting, which I was gonna bring up later anyway, when do you wanna do it?
Or done
So
with the
this
ATV.
is brought up. The problem is, we don't have this kind of a warm fuzzy feeling when we're talking, where we can see, up there, you don't see everybody. And if somebody leans back, you lose eye contact. And we need to, you all need to think, and I won't push my agenda tonight, but you all need to think of how we wanna do workshops, or do we make a new name for us getting together just to talk? Jane's comments, and then we're quick.
Yes, I just wanted to respond to Commissioner Sukup. If you want to meet with me, I am happy to meet with you. I know Sandy has tried numerous times to set up a regular meeting so we could discuss the agenda. We haven't been successful. I mean, I send you emails just like I send the other commissioners emails. But if you need a one-to-one, I mean, Sandy has tried. I just need to know the date.
Pick a good date. Okay,
It
that's
seemed
it.
to
We're
be
there.
trouble.